We also had this bear market here, right? And then we came up into a retracement, and then we came down into reaccumulation. Then what did we do? Then we went sideways in here, right? We had this liquidity grab, and then we expanded like never before, right? So that's exactly what I think is happening now. Something extremely similar here, right? And for example, I don't even need to draw it. I mean, you can just see it for yourself, right? Same thing, rise, rise, crash, crash, retrace, retrace, reaccumulation, reaccumulation, box number one, box number one, box number two, box number two, liquidity grab, blast off. What comes next? Blast off. So I think that should be coming soon. I could be wrong. Remember, not financial advice. This is a big moment here, right? So we'll see how it all plays out. But that's pretty much what I'll say about that. And if you look here, another point of confluence is when we go to the 2-month chart. This right here was 20 bars. So that's an 80. That's a 40-month move right there. So we were going sideways. XRP launched. We went 40 months sideways, and then it blasted off. So if you look here, this is 20 bars down here. Now we're at 40 bars. So this is the 2-month chart, which means what? 80 months. We've been going sideways for the last 80 months. And if this is twice as big as this, which is currently is, then we should hopefully expect a massive move that breaks us out of here, right? So 40 bars, that's 80 months, right? So what do we see here? Well, we came up, made a base, breakout, made another base. What do you think is going to happen next? Breakout, right? We're stepping up, stepping up, stepping up, right? We're going higher. That's how we are looking at this here. So now, again, XRP has been going sideways for the last 6 years, right? So in January, it's actually going to be 7 years, right? So again, a lot of people can say, "Oh, that's a trashy," XRP is not doing anything. It's horrible, but actually, the base is actually a good thing, not a bad thing, right? Sideways is good. That's where you make a lot of money. Is investing in things that you believe are going to go up, but that are not shooting up. They're actually consolidating, right? So what's another reason? Well, I'm about to explain to you exactly why I think XRP is one of the greatest, strongest assets out there. And you say, that's impossible. How could it be strong when it's been so weak over the last years? Well, let me explain. Well, number one, right? If I put, for example, THETA on the screen, nothing against THETA, but look, THETA had a monster bull run, okay? But what did XRP do? It didn't, right? So Bitcoin, Ethereum, Matic, Solana, THETA, all the coins, all the big shot coins, they all went on a massive bull run in 2021, which means XRP did not get to participate in that, right? Because of the lawsuit and what have you. But now that we fast forward today, I'm actually glad that happened because, when the rest of the market was shooting off into outer space, like Bitcoin here, right? XRP was basically doing nothing. It was basically going into a retracement. You could say, well, how is that good? Well, it's good in the fact that it's now going into reaccumulation, right? So a retracement, that means we basically got it out of the way. And another reason too is it created a bigger base. That's another reason, right? So what I'm about to tell you now is probably one of the most important things. So here we go. So the reason why I think XRP is one of the strongest coins is because you don't measure a coin's incredible strength due to its bull runs or whatever. You measure it during its weakest times, through its times of adversity, right? So, for example, let me give you an example. If Solana had a lawsuit and Solana got delisted from all the major exchanges, And Solana didn't go into a bull run. It only went into a retracement. 3 strikes, you're out. Do you think for 1 second that Solana would have held the top 10 title? No. So here's my point. XRP has not gone in a bull run since 2017, 2018. Yet it still remained in the top 10. That to me shows incredible strength. How is that even possible, right? If you had like any other coin, like Dogecoin or Matic or whatever coin, and they had a lawsuit, they would have gotten knocked out of the top 10 so fast it would make your head spin. And then you add on top of that exchanges delisting it, right? So XRP had a lawsuit. It got exchanges delisted it, and it never went into a bull run. But why is it in the top 10? That doesn't make any sense. That just tells you how strong XRP actually is, right? You got punched in the face, you got kicked in the nuts, and you got pushed to the ground. And you stand up, and you're still the bigger person. You're still on top, right? How is that even possible? Explain it to me, right? Remember, every coin went into a big bull run. Matic, Solana, Ethereum, all the top 10 coins went into a massive run, but XRP didn't. It only went into a retracement, right? So this is what they did, right? They all broke out like a madman. They broke out like this, right? And then they went into their bear market. And then they went sideways, and now they're going into the retracement. So most of the coins are up here. XRP's way down here. And it's still in the top 10. So imagine once XRP breaks out and it catches up. Now you're talking about top 3. You're not talking about top 10 or top 5 anymore. Now you're talking about like top 3. Okay? So Ethereum, or I should say XRP has used to be in the number 2 spot for a little while. I think it was for a very, very short time, right? Where you can go to CoinMarketCap, go look at the history of XRP and Ethereum. XRP was in the number 2 spot at one time. So there's no reason to think that it can't happen again, right? So let me put on Ethereum. So just look at that for a second. Look how insane that looks. Right? That green line is Ethereum. XRP's way the hell down here, right? And Ethereum, that is way up here. And you can see the wave structure. Like, look at XRP's wave structure, for example. We're going sideways. We're making these beautiful cups, right? It looks like a beautiful cup and handle or a W pattern. Basically, we're building a strong base down here. But look at Ethereum. It went straight up, straight down, straight back up. That is a lot of crazy oscillation. There's no base building. There's no support really. So this thing could easily come back down, or it can easily shoot back up, or we can have a rise, crash, retrace. We go down into reaccumulation. We go sideways and we break out, or it could be a 1-2, 1-2, and we can still break out. I mean, there's a lot of different things. This is not an Ethereum video. I'll jump into it later. But if the whole market's going into a bull run, and if XRP breaks out, I would imagine Ethereum will as well. But I think XRP will catch up to Ethereum like never before. Now, let me show you this incredible chart here. So let me go to XRP versus Ethereum. Now, what I'm about to show you is absolutely insane. Now, look at this. Let's go to a smaller time frame here. Let's remove Ethereum. There we go. And now let's go to log scale so that we can actually see the details in the waves. Okay, so here we go. So this is XRP versus Ethereum. And now people who've been saying XRP is trash, it's blah, 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 versus Ethereum, you're right. If you would have held Ethereum, you would have made out like a bandit. But now the tables have reversed. Why? Because look, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have a 5-wave move down, right? XRP versus Ethereum. And now what do we have off of that 5-wave move? We have a massive impulse. We have a big wave 1 off the low, right? So you can see just how massively oversold that is, right? And now actually we had some, or actually we're now almost in overbought territory over the last couple of weeks there. So it might have to cool down a little bit, the oscillators, right? But let me zoom in a little bit more. For example, like the 2-day chart, and we can see another beautiful move here, which is what? And we talked about this a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if I put on the RSI, look at that monster bullish divergence between the third and the fifth, right? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if you look at 3 and you look at 5, look at the divergence there. And we called that, we talked about that. And then what came out of that? So we had a 5-wave move down with bullish divergence. And what did we see? We saw a monster impulse off that low, right? So this could have marked the bottom of XRP versus Ethereum. Remember, Ethereum went into a bull run. XRP didn't. So XRP is a bull run behind Ethereum, right? Which means what? It has a lot of catching up to do. Remember, look at all the adversity XRP had to deal with. It had to deal with, what was it, like a 3-year-long lawsuit? It was insane. It was like almost like 4 years. It was ridiculous. They got delisted from Coinbase, who was, I thought, was a very crappy move on their part. And then Judge Torres came out and said, you know what, XRP is not a security. And then we had a battle for another year after that, right? Because they appealed, or no, they had to continue to do the other part of the lawsuit. And then once that was done, well, then now Bitcoin's in this 4th wave, right? So the lawsuit sort of ended at kind of a crappy time, you know, where Bitcoin was in its 4th wave, right? So now, in order for all of this to work, we need a Bitcoin 5th wave expansion, and we'll touch on that a little bit as well. So when we look at XRP versus Ethereum, we see this pretty monster impulse to the upside. Now, does that mean it's going to go up forever? No. Do we need a pullback? Probably, right? So what I can see here, and we talked about this too, is a 1, 2, all of that's 3, right? And now we have a wave 4, and then we're going to get a wave 5, hopefully. And I can remember talking in here, I remember this ascending triangle right in here. We came down, we were going up, we popped the high. This is an A, and I said, watch out, because it could be a B wave. It can turn into a flat, or it can turn into a trap, right? So we had an A. It looked like it was going to break out and then slam back down. And we talked about that risk of being a 3-wave move down. Now, could it be finished, or could we continue moving down? Well, it's a little bit difficult to say right at the moment, because of the wave structure isn't the way I really like it. Let me see if I zoom in a little bit here. I might get a little bit of a clear. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it looks. Yeah, look at that. We have extreme bullish divergence there. So looks like we had a 1, 2. All of that's 3, 4, and 5, and then we had 6 and 7. So we had a correct amount of waves, and now we have this super strong impulse. Now we have to watch out here, because it could be a flat. A, B, C. This could be a flat here. So what we could see here is a 1, 2, right? All of this is 3, and then we have a flat here for wave 4, and then we still need wave 5, and then we can go. So watch out for that sneaky little guy. That could totally occur. We're just gonna have to wait, and it's possible too, because we could actually break this liquidity, and we also have the bull market support band down here. So either way, I'm looking for this wave to be almost finished, right? So this 3-wave move to be almost finished. So we'll monitor that as it goes on. But that's how I look at XRP versus Ethereum. Now, XRP versus Bitcoin looks a little bit different. doesn't it? So let's zoom out. So XRP versus Bitcoin, remember we had this monster wave to the downside that we called the bottom here and said that, you know, we have bullish divergence, not this time frame, but we had the correct amount of waves, right? We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We built a little bit of a base here, and then you can see we had this 5-wave move to the upside. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Perfect. And then what did we have? Well, we had a 3-wave move back down. We had a 3-wave move back up. And look at this. We had a 3-wave move back down, right? So we had a WXY back testing into the bull market support band. And look at that impulse off of this 3-wave move. There's your impulse. Now, could it keep going? Yes. Could it come back down and flag out? Yes. So we're just gonna have to wait and see how all of that plays out. But it's moving in the right direction. Remember, you know, XRP and a lot of coins people buy because they're chasing, like Dogecoin or SHIB. Remember when that was going on? People were just chasing these coins, right? XRP, you want to do it before it actually happens, right? You don't want to be chasing it. You want to do it before you want to chase sideways, right? It's like, I look at it like this. You can't chase an airplane, right? You just can't. But you can maybe chase someone running down the street, right? They're going sideways. They're not going up in the air. And that was a terrible analogy, but let's keep moving here. So let's go back to XRP on the bigger time frames real quick here. And again, you can see, I mean, look at all the market. I mean, it's down a lot. Fetch is down 5%. I mean, we're down pretty heavy. But I mean, look at XRP. It's still doing pretty well. So let's take a look here. And let me show you another idea. And this is why I think we're getting really close. So is because of this downward resistance line. Now, it's a little bit subjective how you put it, but I'm trying to get as much touch points I can without necessarily going through the bodies of the candles, right? And you can also see this demand line, right? And then we have this supply line. So if we look closely at it, right? Well, actually, that's what we had down here, right? We had the same style type of move here. And what we saw back before, because we only have history to rely on, right? We had this beautiful triangle. So we had an A, B, C, we came up for D, and then we had an E, right? And then we blasted off into hyperspace, right? And that zone was our reaccumulation into the apex of that contracting Elliott wave triangle, right? So if you look at what we're doing now, look at where we're at. We're literally in the apex of the triangle with a bullish 2-week engulfing candle that's breaking above these. And that's another thing I got to jump into before the video's over. Let me see. We have right here. So we came down, we had an A, we have a B, we have a C, we came up into a D, and then look at this 3-wave move that we've been talking about for the last year, right? Almost a year, right? E. So, and then if you look at this zone, here's our reaccumulation zone, right? So this is another way you can look at it. And there's no other chart that looks like this. That's the thing. XRP is special in the fact that it doesn't move necessarily with the rest of the market. It kind of does its own thing. And I think that has a lot to do with the ODL, the on-demand liquidity, Ripple partnerships, right? There's a lot of, Ripple is not an ordinary company. XRP is not an ordinary asset. I mean, Brad Garlinghouse said himself that Amazon is to books as Ripple is to payments, right? So Ripple or Amazon started off doing books, right? And then they grew into one of the biggest companies in the world. Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, said, look, we're not here to just be an ordinary company. We're here to put a dent in the universe. And he's very firm on that, right? So he's very bullish on Ripple and XRP, and he knows what's coming down the pike. And there's a lot of things he can't necessarily say right now as far as partnerships goes and things like that. But he's on stage talking to the IMF. You got the World Bank documents, right? I mean, the World Bank talked about XRP in their document, saying it's a beautiful thing, right? I've shared about that as well, talking about being a neutral bridge currency, right? And there's other things too, like SBI Holdings in Japan, right? So if we're having, and if you look at all the currency devaluations, you look at all the derivatives, you look at the bond market, and you think, well, what can be solved here? Well, XRP and the XRP ledger really can house all the world's sort of bigger transactions. Now that's a long ways away, and that's wild, dubious speculation, as they say. But I'm not, the fundamental side of it. I'm more of the technical side of it. But I'm on board with that because the technicals say that some massive move is coming. So, and remember this too, XRP has a lot of ammunition. Remember, we had the lawsuit, which we won. We had XRP is not a security, which is confirmed, right? So you can say, well, it's already priced in. Not necessarily. It's not priced in yet, right? But what do we have now? Well, I think what's really going on, guys, is the SEC has till October 9th or October 7th until they can appeal, right? That's the deadline for them to appeal the Ripple case. Now, if they go ahead and do that, then it could be a little bit of a problem. But if they don't do that, right, that could be the catalyst that sets us up. Because I think, yeah, we won the lawsuit. Yeah, XRP is not a security. But there's always that risk that they can appeal, right? And then they have to go to court all over again and deal with this crap. But which, by the way, if they do appeal, they know they're going to lose. It's just a game that they're playing. So here's what I'll say is that if they don't appeal, we could expect a monster move to the upside, guys. So I know I don't want, again, it's not financial advice. I can't tell you what to do, but I'm telling my friend, buy XRP. Buy XRP. I'm telling my friend to buy XRP because I believe that it's going to be unbelievably bullish, especially if Trump wins, right? So what has to happen? Number one, wait for the SEC to not appeal. I think that's coming down in 7 or 8 days, I was told. Oh, here it is right here. We have, it's been nearly 4 years since the Ripple versus SEC case has started. It's been an incredibly long and difficult journey. Exactly. Nobody deserves it more than the XRP community. I think we're going to be so greatly rewarded. You don't even realize it yet. And here's the thing, right? And as far as the ammunition goes, right, we have the lawsuit, again, like I just said. We have the Grayscale Trust, which just launched, right? What else do we have coming down the pike? Remember the Bitcoin ETF exploded the price of Bitcoin? We had the Ethereum ETF. What do you think comes next? XRP ETF. The XRP ETF is coming, and that's going to really increase demand, in my opinion, right? It could be this. It could be a sell the news, buy the rumor, sell the news type of event. But here's the thing, over the longevity of the whole thing, I think it's going to be a very powerful thing, right? Because it's going to give confidence and conviction in other crypto assets that they can get an ETF, like maybe THETA or Matic or something like that. But anyways, the case is finished. The SEC has until October 7th to appeal. That's 9 days away. So we have to wait 9 days. And if they don't appeal in 9 days, it's over. And Stuart Alberati, their chief legal counsel, has said that the case is over and they don't think they're going to appeal. So we'll see what happens. Anything can happen. The Gary Gensler works for the deep state central banking system. They don't like crypto. They find it a big threat competition-wise, right? That's why I believe Donald Trump and his sons are coming out with a new a DeFi, right? They're getting into DeFi, and that speaks volume. Why would they put their money into DeFi if they don't know what's about to happen, right? So it's unknown if they will or won't, but everyone waits on edge. Is this the end? If it's the end, then we're going to see a mega breakout, guys. We're going to see something incredible happen. And where's the price going to go? Well, I'm going to jump into targets in a little bit later towards the end of the video. Yeah, I think it's becoming time. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is, let me go to the weekly chart. Remember, today is Saturday. What a beautiful Saturday, right? I mean, out of all the days, like, it's just like, it's just a random Saturday, right? Everything is kind of flat down. The market's down today, but then XRP just decides to wake up. That's pretty interesting to me. Okay, so I think one of the most important charts in crypto right now is what I'm about to show you, which is the weekly chart. So let me remove all of this off the screen. So here is our weekly candle. Look at that beautiful weekly candle right here. That thing is gorgeous. Okay, so here's what I'll say. So the weekly candle is going to close tomorrow. So here's the big goal. The big goal for XRP is to close above all of these closes. And there's a lot of them. We have 1, 2, 3 green closes that we need to break above. So let me just put this all the way down to here. And then I'm going to put that right there. So that's our zone that we need to break above. Okay, and it's looking pretty good right now. Can we get slammed back down? Yes, we can. But that's the goal, and we have 1 day to do it. So let's zoom into the 4-hour chart. So here's the 4-hour chart right here. So all we have to do, let's see, where's Sunday? Where's the close at? I think it's right. Oh, my goodness, we also have the monthly chart too. So the monthly chart is actually going to end on Monday, right? And then Sunday is the weekly. So right about there. So all we have to do is stay above that yellow zone by the time we hit that black, or that line right there. So that vertical line. So we'll see if we can do it. It looks like we have a pretty good chance. The RSI just got into overbought territory. That's good, right? We broke out in the RSI, which is a good thing. Remember, this thing can still go higher, right? Because we can come down and then have bullish or bearish divergence. See what I mean? Something like that, where the RSI is going down, but the price is still going up. And then you can kind of correct later on. But we'll jump into the smaller time frames in another video. I just did so on the beginning part of the video. So let's look at some indicators now. So let me put up the TD sequential. So nothing really special on the TD sequential. We're on a 6, right? So we could be getting to a 9 pretty soon, right? And as you know, the 9s are reversal candles. Look right here. This 9 called the top perfectly. We came down, right? And you can see this 9 right here called some consolidation pretty nicely. And you can see this 9 right here also called this dump nice right in here. So now let's see if we get a 9 soon. So yeah, that's one indicator to look at. The Lucid SAR, we just broke above the Lucid SAR on the 4-hour chart. I'm curious as to what the daily is. Oh yeah, look at that. So we've already been breaking above it. Let's bump it up to the weekly. I don't think we're at the weekly yet. Okay, yeah, we are. Yeah, I couldn't remember. And then I know. Oh my goodness! Look at the 2-week chart, guys. We're about to have a 2-week flip. Look at that. The candle is kissing it right now. Look at that. We are literally a tiny tick away. Let me go up. Oh my goodness. Look at that. We are literally from that. We were literally 0.01% away from flipping the 2-week Lucid SAR. So what is the Lucid SAR? Basically, I just call them stars, right? Basically, they're stars. And when you can see when the price is below, it's bearish. When the price is above, it's bullish. And that's basically what it is, right? But look, if you notice, we broke it back over here and we had plenty of time. So I think when we break this one, we're going to have at least, you know, how many stars is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Probably at least, you know, 10 or 20 different stars, which is going to be 10 or 20 different candles, which is the 2-week chart, which is going to be a lot of candles, right? So good times are potentially looking ahead here, right? And then another indicator is the Bollinger Bands. Now, if you look at the Bollinger Bands, this is one of the most important indicators, one of the most famous indicators in the world, Bollinger Bands, right? So if you look at the last time we exploded, look how tight the Bollinger Band got. So let me just put a little bit of a line right here from here up to here. And there's our line right there. So that's how tight it was before it blasted off into space. Now, when they widen out a lot, that's when, you know, things can happen. So let me take this line and bring it over here, and I want to measure the width of this Bollinger Band. So let's take the width of it. So I'm going to take that line. Oh my God! Wow. This is the tightest Bollinger Band we've ever seen in XRP's history, guys. This is it. Hit that like button, please. I mean, this video I think is really powerful because there's a lot of things going on. I've talked about a lot of things. This is not just a 10-minute XRP video update with a couple little lines on the chart. No, this is thorough analysis. I'm going deep. I'm deep diving into a lot of different aspects of this chart because, you know, as an XRP investor, I want to give my audience the most value I can possibly find. So I'm trying to find everything I possibly can and to show it to you, to relay that information. So again, the Bollinger Band is as tight as it's ever been. Look at the size. So this is the black line. This was the size of the previous Bollinger Band. Remember when we broke out and we went up like 10, 20,000%? Remember that back in 2017? Well, that's how big the Bollinger Band is. Now look at it. Now let me put this line from here to here. Look at the size of that. Look at the difference. This was 2017, right before we blasted off, and this is today. That's insane. That's insane. Let me put them both in the same picture here. Wow. So actually, let me take the sequential off so we can see it a little better. And if we put this rectangle here, there's the Bollinger Band width. But look at this Bollinger Band width. I mean, this is, oh my, this is it right here, guys. This is amazing. Beautiful. There's no Bollinger Band that's that tight out there. Like, let me just look at a couple other. Let's look at Ethereum, or let's look at Bitcoin for a second. What's going on, Bitcoin? Look how wide Bitcoin is. I mean, that's a big fat wide. Let's look at Matic. Matic is wide. Let's look at THETA. This is the 2-week chart too, by the way. I mean, look how monstrous that is, right? And you can see when, you know, when THETA broke out between 60 cents all the way up to like $3, it got pretty tight. But it's nowhere near as tight as, for example, XRP. So this is a big moment here for the price of XRP. So the Bollinger Bands are as tight as they've ever been. And people say I repeat myself. You know what? I do, and I try not to. But when something is this important, I just have to. I just got to pound it into our consciousness because it's so important. Okay, so that's the Bollinger Band. Beautiful, beautiful. Now let's look at another indicator. By the way, what is the monthly Bollinger Band? Now, I'm assuming this is going to be kind of wide. Yeah, so that's definitely a lot wider, but it still looks pretty good. So if I measure the the width of this, I'm not going to do it, but you can kind of gauge. It's a little bit, actually, yeah, this was a lot tighter, so that's pretty good. Okay, so what's another indicator that we can look at? Well, let's look at the volume indicator. I don't really look at volume too much, but if you look at the volume, it's very low, which is a good thing, because that's when, when you're going down, right? You can see the volume's going down, but eventually it goes down, 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 down. What happens? It breaks out. That's what happens, right? So, but what I really want to do is, this is the monthly chart. Let's look at, for example, I want to look at the daily for a second here. Okay, and I want to look at this breakout. So we had a nice little volume spike. We had a nice little volume spike here on this breakout, which is a good thing, right? You can see we were kind of going down here, right? And it's downtrend, and it looks like we broke out a little bit of that volume. So yeah, I think it looks good. Now let's look at the weekly here, and we'll move on to another indicator. Yeah, look at that. So volume's kind of waning a little bit, which is good. People say you want a lot of volume. No, you want a lot of volume when we break out. We haven't broken out yet, right? We've broken out of this little thing, right? We've broken out of this range, but we haven't broken out of this main range that we've been in for a year, right? This is 1 year long. So imagine how much velocity we're going to get. And remember, this is a three-wave pullback that's inside of a base that has taken a year to complete. And if you look at the downward resistance line, we're right about to break it here. Look at that. And that's another thing we got to talk about too. There's a lot to talk about. I'm probably going to cut this up in 2 different videos. So if you look at this right here, actually let's go to the daily chart, and let's bring this down to here. You can see we're starting to poke. I'm trying to get it nice and perfect here. We're starting to poke. Look at that. We're starting to poke. We got this. This is a perfect touch, right? Perfect. Look at all those. Look at these 2 wicks here. This is perfect. This is a perfect touch right here, right? And you're starting to break out. So we have 3 hours left on this candle. So the goal for today is to close above this downward resistance line right here. That's what we have to do. We have to close above that downward resistance line. So if we go to the 1 hour chart, you're starting to see we're getting a little bit of a dump here. That's okay. That's okay. Remember we talked about the bearish divergence. We're getting a little bit of a dump here. Maybe we come back down and we play around in here a little bit. We back test this little order block. We back test the bull market support band. Maybe we go higher. Maybe we have an ABC and then go higher, right? We'll jump into that another time. But essentially what I'm looking at here is a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4. Let's get a wave 5. That's how I'm seeing it. Until then, all this is a 3-wave move, right? So we could have another 3-wave move back down if this is not an impulse. But it looks pretty good. We'll see what happens. The rest of the market is kind of down today, right? So if we look at Ethereum, for example, it's kind of just meandering about. But again, Ethereum has been going up this whole time over the last several weeks. Like, for example, THETA has also been going up for the last couple of weeks. So it's been in a nice uptrend this whole time. And now we're at the top of this uptrend. We're probably going to get we're probably going to flag out in here, right? But now what do we see? We start to see XRP starting to wake up, right? So, by the way, THETA, that looks like an expanded flat. We have 3 down, we have 3 up, we have 5 down. So A, B, C, expanded flat. So maybe we develop a little base right here and then we continue higher. We'll talk about THETA another time, but let's go back to XRP and let's jump back into the indicators here. So another indicator is the MACD, right? So the MACD is looking a lot better than it was, right? So we flipped over bullishly. Let's look at it zoomed in here. So you can see we just crossed above the 0 line over the last couple of months, and now we're starting to, we had this, we're starting to have more positive momentum. We're going back up, coming back down. Now we're starting to curl back up again, right? So you can see just how powerful this could get, right? I mean, if you look at the MACD here, we can draw a downward resistance line here, and that can be somewhat of a target that we can get to, right? So that's kind of what I'm looking at, is can we get back up to here or even break out of there, right? So that I'm not selling any XRP until this MACD at least gets to that line, right? So anyways, MACD looking beautiful. All right, so now let's take a look at is there any other? I was gonna say the Ichimoku cloud, we broke above that cloud. I'm not a really expert on that indicator, but it looks okay. Now let's look at some EMAs here. We got some EMAs and they're all trending up, right? That's consensio, when everything is pointing to the upside. Let's go to the weekly chart. We're doing a full diagnosis of XRP today. So you can see the XRP moving averages, they're all pointing up, right? That's the thing we got to look for. The red is pointing up. That's the 20. We have the 50 pointing up, we have the 100 pointing up, and we have the 200 pointing up. So all four weekly moving averages are pointing up. That's exactly what we want. Now, if we look at Bitcoin, they're also pointing up. They're all pointing up, right? If we look at, for example, THETA, they got a little bit of work to do, but I think it's coming for a lot of these altcoins. So, yeah, it's looking really good. And you can see how tight those EMAs have gotten. I mean, it's real nice and tight in there. So, yeah, I think it's looking good for the price of XRP. So, now let's talk about targets here, and then we can wrap this up. So, if we look at this, let's see where this came from. So I'm going to take a Fibonacci retracement all the way down here. So we actually got up to the 2.272. So if I so this structure here got us up to the 2.272. Now that was on a smaller market cap. We have a much bigger market cap today, so it's going to be a lot harder to get to that 2.272. Okay, so but let me take that off, and let's just for fun see where that 2.272 is. So I'm going to go all the way down to here. Okay, so that 2.272 is all the way, oh my god, it's at $220. Now, do I think it's going to go to $220? Probably not. Probably nowhere even close to that. But can it at least get to the 1618? I think we have a good chance at a 1618, right? That's on the high end. So my target for, I guess I probably should have started with the smaller targets first, but my target here for XRP is, there's a couple different ways you can look at it. Why is it doing that? Oh, because I'm not on linear scale. Okay, there we go. So let me go, there we go. So my bare minimum target for XRP, let me just get this right on the dot here, is about $5, right? So you can see that 1618 right up there. This is on linear scale, so that's the bare minimum I'm looking for XRP. That's on the low end, right? So you can see this beautiful W pattern shaping up to be, right? Look at that gorgeous W pattern, right? And a good example of that is Ethereum, right? So if you go back in the day to Ethereum, look at the W. You see it? You see that right there? We came down, we had this nice looking shape, and then what did we do? We exploded into hyperspace, right? That was awesome. So XRP is forming that same exact pattern, which is rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation. That's another reason it is so important to me, is because of all the phases it's gotten to. So that's a long ways away, right? I mean, how much percent is that? I mean, it's not too bad, right? But on linear scale, it's kind of dramatic, right? That's about almost 800%. So 800%, hey, I'll take that any day. So yeah, I think that's target number one. So target number two, and there's a couple ways you could draw the fibs. I'm just going to do it regular for time purposes today. But I would be looking at the 2.272 up to the 2.618, between $7 and $8. So target number one, between $4 and $5. Target number two, between $7 and say $8, right? And then target number three would be that $10 to $13. So those are the three targets, right? On linear scale. Now, if we bump that up to log scale, and a lot of times in the crypto market does respect the log scale, so let's put it on log here, and there we go. So when we put it on log scale, that minimum target becomes, let me make sure that's right on the dot there, about $26, $27. We'll just say conservative, $25, right? So again, $5, $8, $10 to $13, and $25, okay? That's on the high end. So the maximum target that I'm looking at is about $25. Now, can it go higher than that? I mean, I guess it could, but it would have to take some massive sort of event to happen, right? I guess it could get higher than that. Now, I believe eventually it will get higher than that. I'm just talking about this next cycle coming up, right? This wave coming up. So if we take a trend-based fib extension from here, from the bottom here, and we go all the way to the top, and then all the way back down to the bottom, and then we flip that to log scale, right? And then let's get rid of the blue one here. I'm looking at, that this is where it gets a little bit crazy, but a 1-to-1 extension, you're looking at $111. Now, I've really never talked about that number before. I'm not on board with it. I mean, it's possible, but it's a little bit far out there. I would actually feel a little bit more comfortable putting it down to this one here and saying about $68. Or if we let's put this on the base of it here and then look at it, about $72, and then I'll put it from the recent wave structure we had, this wave down here, up to there. So that 1-to-1 extension gets us to about almost $5. So that's a dramatic difference, right? Yeah, so about $5. But look at the 1618. That comes in at $30. So that's pretty interesting to me. If we take it off log scale, I mean, the highest, 4.236 is about $8. Now, if we do that same thing, but back over here, I think it's going to be that $13 area. Yeah, so about $14, in there. So, so you know, you got a wide range of targets. It's a little bit difficult to kind of gauge that, but let me put this here, and that's really the line that we need to break out of. So once we break above that, it is game on. I mean, this is when we really go into price discovery. And I would say between $1.30 and $2, that's really the area that is going to open the floodgates of this incredible move to come, right? So if we take a little bit of a measurement here, I'll take it from the bottom up to the top, right? And then what I'm going to do is go down to this line right where it stops. I'm going to take this, I'm going to put it right there. So the measured move of that is about $12.50. So a lot of people have that $10 target, and usually when so many people have it, it's usually going to undershoot or overshoot, right? So I think $12 is a good little area. Actually, it's a big area, right? So you know, we'll see. There's actually a little bit of a trend line here that I seen in a chart somewhere, and I actually liked it. And so we put it right here, and you can see all the points of contact, right? Actually, I'm gonna have to fit it a little bit. There we go. Something like that. Let me get rid of that. So somewhere in that line, right? That could be a potential target there. You can see, obviously, right? Resistance, resistance. We flip it to support, support, resistance, resistance, right? So this could be the line that we can get to, and that is between, you know, depending where it lands. So, you know, depending on the time, because it's a rising line. So that could be about 13. Let's see, if we go to November, yeah, that's about $13 to $20 right in there, right? And if we go even further out, like let's say it takes another year, October, that's like $37. So somewhere in that line, right? So you know, if this is a 1 and this is a 2 and this is a 1 2, we're about to get 3 4 5 4 and then 5, something like that. But I'm not going to go as far as that. I don't know how it's going to look, but here's what I will say. Now this is the monthly chart, and this is where I'll wrap it up here. So the monthly chart ends in 2 days. I don't think it's possible, but we'll see. But I would love to see a candle break above that. It probably won't be this candle. It'll probably have to be the next candle where we break out, maybe consolidate a little bit, and then really push to the upside. Maybe consolidate a little bit more, and then really just trying to give a little representation of how this could look here, and then really start to break out. I mean, it could happen fast. It could happen pretty fast. Pull back a little bit, and then have that final blow off top. So you have your nice cup and handle there, or A, B, C, D, E, contracting triangle, or rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways breakout. Any way you slice it and dice it, it's looking pretty good. But here's what I'll leave you with. Remember what Brad Garlinghouse said. He predicted, and he still stands by his prediction, a $5 trillion market cap total valuation of the crypto space. So if we look at total right now, if we look at the total market cap, we're sitting at 2.25. Okay, so I actually drew it on here. Look at that. So that's $5 trillion by the end of the year. So if that's the case, then we need to go in this upward trajectory over the next, three months, right? We only have 3 months until the end of the year, October, November, December. So let me take everything off. And if you look a little bit closer, like for example, Let's go. Here we go. Here's the end of the year. Now, he could be wrong, right? I mean, it might take a longer, but that's kind of where we're at, right? So how the hell are we going to get to 5 trillion? 5 trillion's way up here. How are we going to get to 5 trillion by the end of the year, Brad Garlinghouse? I mean, come on, are you smoking something? Like, that's crazy, right? I mean, is it possible? Yeah, it is. We can pull back and hit the high here. It's going to be very tight. I don't think 5 trillion. I'm thinking more like maybe 3.5, maybe 4 would be okay. But hey, you know, I think either way, it's going to look good. Remember, 1, flag out for 2, 3, flag out for 4, 5. Let's go. All right, guys, that'll do it for this video. There's still a lot of other stuff that we have to touch on. Let me look at Bitcoin real quick. So Bitcoin obviously hit the high there. It's probably going to come down and retest this area, right? So we'll see how all that plays out. But, you know, it looks like we had 3 down, or it was, I can't remember what it was that I exactly said. I look at a lot of charts and I look at a lot of things, so bear with me. So we have 3 down, okay. Yeah, we have 3 down, we have 3 up, and we have 3 back down. So W, X, Y. And this looks like a wave 1, right? So maybe we get, this could be an expanded flat here, like a wave 2, and then we go higher. So 1, 2, let's get 3. So we probably got to flag out a little bit in here and back test this area before we can get going. And if we correlate that with, for example, XRP, then obviously the same kind of thing, a little bit of a flagging out, or even back testing. Like we can come all the way back down and back test. So we'll see how it plays out. But all in all, it's a good day for XRP. Let me just look at the super small time frames before we go here. Yeah, it kind of looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have an A, and this came up for a B, and now we're coming down for a C. So A, B, and C. So if I'm looking to grab some, maybe somewhere down in here, down in here. So let me put the Fibonacci retrace of this wave, right? Yeah, so maybe about 60 cents flat, somewhere around that 618 or 50. So yeah, let it come on down. I mean, that's bullish. So we'll see how that plays out. All right, guys, that'll do it for this video. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Thank you so much. Hit that like if you can. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think. And if you can, share the video if you know someone who holds XRP, or maybe they hate XRP, right? And here's a video that shows that they're wrong, right? You know, I don't know. So I think we got some good times coming up shortly. But remember, we're in election year. We have deep state trying to survive. You know, their life is at stake. And this election is everything for them. So, you know, there could be a cyber attack. There could be a terror attack. Watch out for Iran. You know, Iran could be doing some crazy stuff. But I don't think it's really Iran. I think it's just the deep state, the operatives within Iran that's doing it. You know, they could cause some problems, and people might think we're going to war, and that could cause a crisis, maybe a market crash. I don't know why they would do that right before the election and hurt their chances. Maybe they realize they're going to lose it anyway. So we'll find out how all of this transpires, but just be very vigilant because anything can happen, right? I mean, XRP, the technicals are there, but again, if the stock market has a complete meltdown, if Bitcoin has a complete meltdown, then XRP could have somewhat of a liquidation, before going up at a later time, right? So I don't think that's going to happen, but I'm just saying anything's possible. So anything can happen, right? So we just have to be aware of that. But anyways, that'll do it. I will catch you on the next one. Cheers.